touch it.
I want to touch it so bad.
This is a nice animal.
I want to kick him in the butt.
You want to pull him up through here? Oh.
Wait a minute.
Why don't they use this? They should get him around the mouth and pull him up. Yeah.
7.
And you see what they're using to keep the mouth shut is a real super strong rubber band. You don't want to scrimp on rubber bands when you do alligators. You might as well get the good stuff. Tom, you want me right behind you? Yep.
11.5 or 11.
You're good. You're good.
Got him, Tom?
I'm trying to get a side view.
I got one like that. Yeah, what we're doing is trying to get, once you get their feet, so I've got his back legs kind of tucked under my legs, and that way he can't push up. Because these guys are really strong. Not at all. I'm not, it's not like I've got him in a wrestling block or something. I'm just trying to keep his feet up. Still opening. Alligators are tough. Not big ones.
Should do it. Okay. See what you think. You opening it at all?
No. Yeah, he is.
Put another rubber band on there just to be safe.
Give him another one.
People take tape to keep it all around.
You'll see why we don't use tape when we let him go.
You can turn loose. Stand by. This guy beat us up last year. We got halfway through working him up. It was only George and I. This is a 3-person alligator. He took his tail and threw George into the azaleas. Then he stood up and walked back into the pond with me on his back.
Okay, guys, what is this? Let's take guesses on how much this animal weighs. How much do you think?
200 pounds.
200 pounds? That's a pretty good guess. What do you think? 250?
These guys are pretty good, Tony.
400 pounds.
400 pounds? I'll bet it's less than 400. And I'll bet, what do you think?
Actually, I changed it. I think it's
300 pounds? What do you think, Tom?
11 foot, going to be 275 pounds.
275 pounds. The one thing to remember, though, guys, is alligator muscle is a lot stronger than people muscle. So 275 pounds a person is not as strong as 275 pounds alligator.
These big muscles here, jowls, that's the closure muscle. They use to close their mouth. So you can't keep an alligator's mouth open. If he wants to close it, he's going to close it. Once it's closed, it's relatively easy to keep it closed.
Yeah.
And Tony's holding up those hind legs because this animal stands up on his hind legs, he'll swing his tail under, and then he'll spin. You can't stop doing that, so that's why you have to hold his hind legs.
Their feet feel really cool. They're like little bean bags or something. And the claws don't do much. You know, if this was a giant lizard, like a big Komodo dragon or something, it would just shred us with its claws. But alligators, the claws are just not very sharp, or just they don't use them much for defense like some of the big lizards do. You're going to name him Bowser?
So
They're probably going to
see
give us...
those ridges on his back. They drilled a hole through some of those ridges, and he's putting a hole through it and screwing it.
This is a male.
So
The main reason is size. Hey guys, so this is, we know this is a male because it's a big animal. Biggest females are only about 9 feet. So
Tony, can you talk to him a little bit about why it's an advantage to be big if you're a male in alligators?
yeah, hey guys, when you look in nature, if you look at animals, if males are bigger in the species, what does that usually tell you? Well, something else. Generally means male combat. So if you have bigger males, white-tailed deer, for instance, they'll fight over territory and everything.
male deer.
An alligator's hatch, they only weigh about 3 ounces. By the time they get this size, they've increased their body weight about almost 2,000 times.
More of it has to do with that.
We did that, we'd weigh about 6,000 pounds.
Yeah, and that tag also has a number on it. So later,
Tom, can you tell them about tagging?
oh, this is Gator Corner.
Hey,
Reason we started working out here,
hey guys, listen up just a minute. This is good stuff.
reason we started working out here is we realized that a lot of the alligators on the golf course ponds have been around people for 20 years and no negative consequences. And they were getting up to be 9, 10, 11 foot. So we wanted to see how they behaved. So when we first started, we walked toward an alligator and we measured how far away it was when it went under. When we started, that was 23 yards. Now, after we catch them and release them, that flight distance jumps all the way up to 60 yards. You can't really get anywhere near an alligator once it's been caught and released. And that reduces the conflict between people and alligators.
How do you put a tag on it?
We put a color tag, and it's numbered. And what we'll do is we'll come in the spring and in the fall, and we'll see how many of these animals we recite, and how many other adults we see that don't have a tag, and we can estimate the population. In the golf course ponds, we estimate there's about 40 adult alligators.
Wow.
How farther will it travel?
We've had one animal that was taken in the harvest, and he was up at Highway 17 on the Columbia River, 23 miles. We had another one that was taken down crossing 278 down the bluff. These big males have home ranges normally over 1,000 acres.
Do they migrate from freshwater to saltwater and back and forth?
They use salt water in order to go out and get some blue crabs and mullet, but for the most part, they're freshwater animals. They can't stay out there forever. They have to come back to their salt bound. They don't have the functional salt money.
So, guys, give me an idea. What do you think this animal could eat? What would it eat? It would eat a squirrel for sure if it could catch one. What else? It would eat egrets. It would eat birds if it got a shot at them. It would also eat fish if it could catch them. Alligators rarely attack people. Very, very, very rare. That's the good thing.
They don't attack them.
The other thing they could eat is raccoons and possums
Oh,
and white-tailed deer occasionally.
Alligator. We have raccoons in our yard. Seal. I bet it likes an alligator.
Yeah, they do eat meat. They don't eat plants. They're not-
And coyotes. They can eat coyotes.
I heard a reference to Sharknado. I don't know how we got there. But
Oh, Sharknado. My mom.
it's harder, Tom. It's just knees in the same position.
Well, like you said,
I may not be able to stand up when we get
It's
done.
the standing up. That's the hard part.
He almost looks dead.
he might need it.
He's
we
not.
we made him use up all the oxygen he had in his bloodstream. And then when they do that, they get real passive. If we brought him up while he was just fresh, he'd be rolling us all over the lawn. So we make him get tired out or handled like that.
Did you show
Is that sweat or water?
Captain? Did you show
On him or me? That's sweat.
Is that hard to tie them down? Is it hard to get them down like this?
You want to try?
Yeah. Have you ever gone to Gatorland? Because you can go actually sit on a gator and
Some
Tom
people
does
do
it
that,
after
but
that
there was tame alligators. You don't want to try that with wild alligators.
you can either do that. Well, they tame them first. You can either put them out or they take them out.
There aren't a lot of.
You know if it put the tag
He
in.
doesn't feel that.
No, they don't have many nerves in those locations. That's why we do that.
Tom, what do you know about the history of this particular alligator?
This alligator we caught a year ago in the same pond, but after we caught him, he went over to Kalawasi, stayed over there in the pond for 3 days, then came back. And he left again beginning of the summer, late spring. Went back to Kalawasi to a different pond. And he stayed there all summer. He just came back in the last week.
Wow. What sort of distance do you think it is from here to Kalawasi to that pond?
About a mile and a quarter.
About a mile and a quarter? But he has to swim through salt water to get there.
He's going to be over here shortly. He's tired of this guy. I'm glad he didn't get
So all the time he's been sitting here, he's been resting. Is he getting his?
Hey guys, Chris had a great point. Alligators get tired very easily, but since he's just sitting here and not thrashing around and stuff, he's saving up a lot of energy, and so that's kind of.
So he's getting his energy. Yeah, he's getting his energy back. He's getting more oxygen back. All the time that he's been here resting, he's been getting oxygen back into his muscles. So remember we talked about ectotherms versus endotherms? This is an ectotherm. It has to rely on an external source for its heat, and it can save up energy in its muscles, but once it uses it up, it's done. But now it's got more oxygen back in its muscles. And guess what? This thing is he's going to be ready to go here in just a little bit.
Alligators have very specialized eyes. When you shine a light on them, it goes past the rods and cones, and they register the light that way. Then it hits the membrane in the back. It's reflected back out across the same rods and cones. So they use the light one time going in and another time coming out. That's one of the reasons why they can see in very dark light.
So what is going to happen next?
I'm going to run, and Tony's going to be left with this alligator.
With not an uncontrolled head. Fortunately, the rubber bands will still be on.
The total length.
Yep.
Okay. Go ahead, Tom.
Good.
1 inch.
11 feet, 1
11
inch?
feet, 1 inch. So whoever said 11 feet.
And his snout is 13 inches.
The snout is 13 inches.
When they get this big, the 1 inch to 1 foot ratio changes a little bit. A little bit bigger snout on these big guys.
And these jowls, as far as the reason he looks like he has these big jowls, what are they for? See that sort of looks like a sack under his throat?
Looks like that.
Yeah, that's for bellowing.
Does he miss any problems with his toes there? Oh, good. So he looks good. He's charging up.
Let's take his snare, open his snare up.
He's ready to let him go.
Yep.
Yeah, just a minute.
Now you see why we put rubber bands on rather than tape.
If he decided to move, can he only go forward? Can he only go in one direction?
No, they can back up too.
They can
They
back
go
up.
all different directions. They can roll, spin. They're very agile.
So this is, if you had put tape on it, you couldn't get it off easily as you're getting ready to release him, right?
Correct.
No.
Hey guys, this up just a minute. Did you hear that? So what they're doing is tying a rope to the rubber bands, and that way they can snatch the rope, pull the rubber band off the mouth. Otherwise, you got to walk up to the alligator and try and pull them off by hand. You don't want to do that.
Now the alligator has a tooth on it.
Did y'all see that? They found a little tip of a alligator tooth in his snout, so he's been bitten by another alligator.
A bigger alligator? All right. You can understand my concern.
Yeah.
A smaller alligator.
Y'all need to back up a little
Okay,
bit.
everybody back out. Hey, Tom, go ahead and put his feet down under it.
Snare off.
Go ahead and put his feet down.
One of these chasing. Thank you. No, they're not one.
Let's go ahead. Because I just know he's going to.
Hold it. Can you get our group back a little bit from there?
And he's charging up. Watch it.
Usually your best bet is just one spot.
George is probably going to take that from us.
Yeah, so they can't do it.
I don't think very often. They can stretch the rubber band sometimes.
But
They
yes,
really snap. So you don't have to worry about that road. Yeah, you're going right? Go left. Let's go.
When I pull these off, he's going to open his mouth. It'll be good
You ready,
chance for a
guys?
photo.
Here's the photo opportunity. Everybody okay? Okay. And notice he's going back in the water on his terms, backwards.
Bye.
See you next year.
Guys, was that
See you next
awesome
year.
or what?
Yes.
I mean, that